After I threw up, I ordered Pizza Hut.
Oh no, Phil.
Ah!
Ah! Why?
I don't know. It seemed like a good idea.
Oh, do you want to start the podcast like that? That can be our intro.
Yeah, sure.
After I threw up, I ordered Pizza Hut. Like
Not fun. I wish it was.
like a really well placed ad.
We're all here vomiting me. Oh my god.
Okay, are you ready to find out? Wait, no, first let me just say what's gonna happen. Fel has been working very hard lately, so I figured the first podcast I would just tell them a quick little ditty. So, are you ready to hear what it is?
Oh shit, I forgot we started.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, I was reading soccer mom text.
I was like, do you want to start the episode like that? And you agreed out loud.
I know.
Okay, do you want to hear what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah.
Oh. So let me just say, I'm going to tell you a story. I have all my notes written out and everything. Feel free to interrupt me whenever you want, whenever you have an interjection or a comment or whatever you need to do, okay?
I have absolutely no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, Fel has no idea what's happening. But today, we're gonna talk about the history and lore of Robert the Doll. Because I very much like haunted objects, and Fel hates haunted things.
You wouldn't like haunted objects if you'd owned any.
Well, stop buying life-sized Ninja Turtles.
The Ninja Turtle was only slightly life-size. It was the Barbie.
I don't like having don't defend the Ninja Turtle by saying it's only slightly haunted.
It never actually moved around the room. It just stared at me a lot.
Wow, kinda like Robert the Doll.
Do we? Oh my god.
Get ready for 7 pages of this.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so let's just get a brief overview of Robert the Doll right now. He's currently in the Marteo Gallery. So, basically, the whole, big deal about him is that you ask him if you can take a picture of him, and he has to say yes in some way, whether it's making the energy around you feel different, he moves, he makes a noise, something weird happens that indicates, yeah, you can take a picture of me. And if he doesn't do anything, it means no, and if you take a picture of him anyways, you get cursed and might die or hurt yourself a lot.
That's just my normal everyday life.
Yeah, people also write apology letters to him, and often people will claim that after saying sorry, he stops messing with your life and you move on. So he's very petty, just to get that out there.
I'm very petty.
Wow, you and Robert can be friends.
No.
Okay. So...
Unless Robert, can somehow hear me and wants to be friends.
Yeah.
I've been too many times before.
But yeah. So some of the things Robert can cause: bad luck, sickness, disease, car accident, broken bones. He said he's caused problems in relationships before. So just a whole slew of misfortune could follow you if you disrespect Dab Boy. I know. Okay, so let's just get into the background of him. There's a lot of different conflicting stories, but the real one is what I'm about to explain, and I'll go off on some of the different ones, but this is how it actually happened. So, I know! Okay! Hopefully we cut that out or something. So, Robert the Doll was a birthday present to an 8 or 9-year-old Robert Eugene Otto from his grandfather between the 1890s and 1904, and like somewhere between those two times. I actually couldn't narrow it down because the past is so jumbled. Anyways. So, it was a one-of-a-kind doll that his grandfather, they thought he ordered it at first. Turns out he bought it as a mannequin on display. Fun fact, it was a mannequin for clown and gesture clothes.
Oh.
Thanks, Grandpa. It stands at 3 feet and 4 inches tall. And the grandpa wanted it to look like his grandson, so the little sailor uniform Robert wears, it is Eugene's old outfit from when he was a little kid.
Wait, it's 3 feet tall?
It's 3 feet and 4 inches tall.
It's literally, like, almost my height.
Yeah, it is. You need to grow a little bit.
Shut up!
You're not safe anymore.
God. I don't know what I would do if you said that Robert the Doll was like 5'2". I'd probably cry.
Me too. I'm only 3 inches taller than that. Okay, so also something else I want to bring up real quick is another way people say the story starts is that the doll was given to Eugene when he was a little kid by one of their family's maids, and the maids and servants were all treated like human garbage, so they did some voodoo and the doll was cursed, and like that was a whole different background. But like that's not a thing. The museum the doll's at traced its origins back to the Steiff Company in Germany, so just gonna get that out of the way so no one brings it up later.
You know, if you rub your tongue over something and then smell it, you can smell how bad your breath smells.
So, basically, you know, he has a toy, it's not that big a deal, but after a while, things did start getting weird, especially when the family noticed that when Eugene would talk to the doll, a secondary deep voice would answer back.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you're just walking by your kid's room. Oh, I just love playing with you so much, Robert. You're really fun. Kill the humans.
No, just like, hey, Robert, what do you want to do today? Tea party.
Eugene began to blame the doll for things happening around the house, mutilated toys, moving furniture, breaking household objects, and he would often say, I didn't do it, Robert did it. Just like flat out, that was his explanation.
What a little fucking tattletale snitch bitch.
It's not like anyone believed him. I mean, maybe after a while they did. Because neighbors would also soon claim to see Robert shifting from different windows around the house when no one was home. The family would hear the doll laugh and sometimes see it run around the house out of the corner of their eye. So, like, if you were actually looking, he wouldn't do it, but if it was, like, the corner of your eye and you weren't really paying attention, like, he would just scatter around. Not scatter, but, you know, skimper around.
That's so scary. That's, like, my childhood. I'm feeling nostalgic.
That's never a good thing to hear in the midst of a Robert the Doll story. Okay, so, the family was obviously freaked out by this, and people around them were freaked out by this, so much that kids walking to school would often go a different way just to avoid not going by the house and watching the doll, you know, watch them from the window. That's because that's creepy. If you excuse me, I have to look behind me now. Okay, back to this. One experience came from their plumber, who claimed to hear children's laughter even though Eugene was not home at the time. He was curious, obviously, and, you know, as any genius does, he decides to look around the room, and he took notice that the doll had moved from one side to the other with no one there to move it. I don't know what he did after that, because I couldn't find anything, but I'm hoping he just ran out of the house and, got his money for whatever work he did.
Can you repeat that?
Which
you cut out.
Oh, yeah, they hired a plumber. Plumber heard laughter.
Plumber heard laughter.
Yeah, plumber heard laughter. No one was home. Well, Eugene wasn't home. And when he looked around the room, he noticed the doll had moved from one side to the other with no one there to move it. So that's fun.
I went home.
Yeah. So, Eugene started having reoccurring and frequent nightmares. I'm not sure about what, but he just had them, so roll with me. And when his parents would enter the room, a lot or most or all the furniture would be knocked over or upside down, just clear across the room, and Robert would be sitting at the foot of Eugene's bed, just watching him. I'm not sure how long this went on before the family got sick of it, but when they did, they decided to lock Robert in the attic. Apparently, it was the aunt's idea to put him up there, and it is said the night they did move him, the aunt died.
Oh.
Essentially saying, hey, you're gonna lock me in my room? I'm gonna kill ya. So, a dramatic response.
Very... I hope it got his point across.
It did not. So, Robert gets locked in the attic, which, works...
Robbie.
Okay. So, don't start this tangent. We had a conversation before this about Lazy Town. We got it out of our system.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Eugene... Okay, so Robert the doll gets locked in the attic, which, works pretty well when you locked haunted things away. But, actually this time it did. It worked. A while passed, years passed, actually. Robert was forgotten the time as Eugene grew up and married and moved out and became an artist and all that stuff. Until... Of course, there's always that unfortunate until in these stories.
Mm-hmm.
The parents passed away, and Eugene inherited their home.
Oh, no.
And since Eugene was Robert's best friend growing up, and he didn't have enough, apparently, he had a new house, he was married to a woman named Annette. Now, none of that was enough. He just had to take the doll out of the attic and bring it back down to the place of the living. So he puts the doll next to the window, facing the rest of the room, so Robert can just watch anyone go by. 'Cause, I don't know, he just wanted it there, okay? Why couldn't he just leave it up there?
Don't say shit like that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Robert. Okay? I just spent so long on these notes.
I don't want you to die.
I haven't read any cases about anyone dying. What? Yeah, but like,
the aunt died.
yeah, but she did something drastic to him.
You just said that they should have left him up there.
I'm sorry, Robert. I'm very sorry, okay? I have a friend who's gonna go give you candy next time they go over.
Ellen's gonna give Robert candy.
No, it's not Ellen. We'll get to that point in the story later.
It's not Ellen?
No. So,
You have a friend that's not Ellen?
Yeah, I really hate you too. Okay, so So Robert took him out of the attic and put him in front of a lovely window where he could just enjoy his life and look out of it. And again, neighbors would see it and get freaked out by it. But this time, Robert picked up a new trick and would disappear and reappear just like right there while the neighbors were actively watching it. Like just a glitch in the Matrix. It goes away and comes back.
I guess Robert had been practicing.
He really had. He should have been a magician.
Oh god, he could have been the next Houdini.
Really? Okay. So, Annette, logically, started to get very mad at the doll and her husband, because her husband, Eugene, wanted to keep the doll downstairs, and she was like, I don't like it. It has a creepy aura. It's just a creepy looking doll. Can we, put it back up in the attic? And he was like, no. But then he was like, yeah, okay. So Eugene goes to move the doll back up to the attic, but when he goes up to it, the doll tells him, it tells him he wants a room with the view of the street and to put him back upstairs in the turret room. So, Robert does not go back in the attic. He goes to the turret room so he can have a better view of the street. I had to look behind me again.
Yeah, I keep thinking that, I had a nightmare the other day where my life-size Cinderella doll finally caught up with me. And, I was sitting on the couch, and I looked out the window for some reason, and coming in from the hill, down towards my apartment, was the fucking doll, and she was zeroed in, locked eyes with me, and I was on call with you. And I remember just, crying, and I was like, Marcy, I don't know what to do!
Oh, this is too real.
What would you do if that happened?
I don't know. I was gonna send you guys some sage and stuff, but I still have it.
Yeah, it's been almost a year.
I know. I don't know.
We went
Maybe
through
I could try.
in that time.
Maybe I could, try to, I don't know, ward the evil off from here. Via the internet.
Missouri's actually been pretty chill on the ghost inspector department, which is quite strange considering what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's a good break. You're getting a lovely vacation.
You say vacation,
Well, we've established that you're like a supernatural sponge. You just absorb it all, and then someone puts you somewhere else, and it all just gets released.
Some of it has been released.
Yeah, the sponge, it slowly seeps out.
There's a ghost at work.
Again?
Yeah.
What kind of ghost does that work? Phil works in a hotel, just to clear that up.
Yet, because it's a big hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not quite sure because we were on 3rd floor, and I had my clipboard for... Cinder, you scared the piss out of me. And I had my clipboard for cleaning the rooms on top of my cart, but my cart wasn't moving, and it was in a solid place, and then suddenly my clipboard just flies down the hallway. Destiny, did you see that? And she was just like, see what? And I was like, our clipboard, just whoosh, just fucking whoosh. And I pointed to where it was on the ground, and she goes like, oh yeah, that just happens sometimes, and picked it up and put it back in the cart.
You should do some investigating around that area.
I don't want to die.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so here's what happened after the doll was put into the turret room. Eugene decided he was going to spend most of his time in that room painting and just talking to the doll. Where, yes, again, another voice could be heard answering him back. Time passes,
No.
Annette dies, and then Robert does die eventually in 1974.
Robert dies in 1974?
Robert dies in 1974.
Who's Robert?
I mean, and Eugene, sorry, I forgot to did I ever mention that, the little kid who owned Robert the doll,
Yeah,
his
you've
full
been
name.
calling him Eugene, so I was imagining, like,
Oh,
Robert all clutching his chest.
no, Robert the doll's owner, the kid's name was Robert Eugene Otto. So I've been calling him Eugene like most other people do. I'm sorry, I thought I clarified that the kid's name was also Robert.
You did, but you've been calling him Eugene up until that point.
Because it'd be confusing.
Yeah, but then you said it was confusing whenever you suddenly just.
I'm sorry, it slipped out. I didn't mean to. I wrote Robert in my notes, so like it just came out that way. Yeah.
I came out that way.
Yeah. Another way the ending goes is that Annette went insane and locked Robert in the room, who didn't notice and died from being locked in a room. And Annette also died from insanity. I don't know what that means, but it's not the real thing. Just know that's also a thing people say.
That
What?
people say the darndest things.
Yeah, don't you just hate it when people say your wife's insane and locks you in a room with a possessed doll? Kids.
Kids these days, man.
Yeah.
They just
Regardless of how it ended, the house was still bought and taken over by a woman named Myrtle Rooter.
a woman named Myrtle Rooter.
Yeah, I said womit, so I wanted to correct myself to say woman.
You didn't even hear it. It sounded like woman.
Oh, well, I said womit.
You couldn't even hear it.
Oh, well.
You just made a fool of yourself on the
Aw.
internet in front of everyone.
Okay. She
Oh,
confirmed.
2 people.
Yeah, get out of here. So she confirmed a lot of stories about the doll. You know, like when people ask her, "Why are you keeping the creepy possessed doll you found?" And she, yeah, that's a weird thing. She got the house, but then like she kept a lot of the things in it, including the doll. I don't know, that's just a weird fact, I guess. Obviously, visitors didn't like the home. They would say Robert would disappear and reappear right before your eyes. They didn't like the energy. Everything felt bad and dark and upsetting. Myrtle and company also started to notice that the doll, it already kind of has an interesting expression. But when you would say something, Robert's the doll, like his face would shift, meaning he was like following along the conversation with you guys. And if you ever said anything negative about Eugene or something about Robert, he would get, an angry or creepy expression. Like he's aware of what's happening around him.
Yeah.
Which I guess is, a lot of haunted objects are said to be aware of what's happening and stuff.
Oh no, they are.
Yeah. Fel can attest.
God.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing is that we never really go into depth about my
We can
childhood.
go into depth another. I would really like to, I feel like I haven't sat down with you and, like, I have, but, like, I've never questioned you about it, like, an actual interview format, and I would very much like to do that for one episode, where I would, like, make it an interview format, because I haven't ever asked you it in that way before, and I feel like that would make my understanding better.
There's just a lot.
Good, we can make a whole episode out of it.
I don't think that it would even fit into a whole episode.
We can
'cause
make
it's
several.
the life of a Fel.
Yeah, really. Okay, so, the Solaris Hill had a reporter named Malcolm Ross go over, and, I was so upset. I couldn't find the article he wrote anywhere. Like, I was hoping someone had taken a picture and saved it and eventually uploaded it somewhere, But, like, I couldn't find the whole thing anywhere. So, like, I just had to go off of the quotes that I could find online. But, yeah. So, I don't know if anyone ever finds that. I'd love to see it. Anyways.
Our viewers have stopped listening by now.
Whatever. Get out of here.
Okay, if you really want me to.
Please don't. Okay, so Malcolm Ross, said, quote, "It was like a metal bar running down my back. At first, when we walked through the door, the look on his face was like a little boy being punished. It was as if he was asking himself, who are these people in my room, and what are they going to do to me?" Which I think is very interesting, because I hadn't read something before that painted Robert as, you know, the scared little boy. Usually it's the other way around. Robert scares the guest. That was very interesting to me.
Yeah.
When I need to stop saying When some of the people with Malcolm explained the doll's origins, he noticed the doll's facial expression shifting like it was following their conversation. I repeated myself. And in a wise decision, one of the people in the group called Eugene essentially an idiot for keeping the doll around. When, at that moment, Robert the doll's face shifted to like one of hate right in front of them. Another quote from it is, "There was some kind of intelligence in there. The doll was listening to us."
Oh, God.
Yeah. Later, Myrtle moved. And do you want to know what she did with the doll when she moved down to Von Pfister Street? She took it with her.
Oh, my God.
Myrtle. Little
Myrtle.
Lady Myrtle. I wonder what compelled that. Do you think the doll asked to, like, tag along?
He might have, but then again, he kind of hated everyone.
Well, yeah, but, like, maybe he just gets attached to whoever's, like, caring for him at the time, you know? Like, he just wants a friend to hang out with.
Honestly, probably, because he's supposed to be a little boy.
Yeah.
I feel like Eugene is definitely where the majority of his loyalty lies, still to this day, though, even though Eugene's fucking dead.
Well, yeah, because, like, Eugene treated him like a friend and stuff, even though he'd snitched all the time.
Yeah, Eugene was a damn snitcher.
Yeah. Okay, so in 1994...
Friend. I said, we all have that one friend who's a snitch, though, so...
Yeah, I don't know who it is in our group.
Oh my God, is it me? It's a wee-wee.
Oh, I thought it was like an old lady.
No, a chode is a wee-wee.
Oh, okay, that's great. Anyways, in 1994, Myrtle donated a Robert to the Marteo Museum, where he remains today. I would very much like to know the final straw that led her to donating him, but I do not know it.
Maybe she just wanted him to be taken care of, and she was getting old.
You know, maybe it was like some maternal instinct, because, like, maybe they had grown close and to be like a mother and son.
That's what I want to believe.
Okay.
We could always ask Robert one day.
No thanks. Isn't it like when you ask something that's haunted or possessed, like a question, you're opening yourself up to it being attached to you? Isn't it how it works?
Kind of, but I mean, at this point, I just don't care.
Okay, well, you can ask him, but I can't be at the museum with you when you do it. I'll explain later. Okay.
What did you do?
I'll explain later. We have 4 more pages of notes.
Oh my God, how?
So,
this is what we get for going on tangents about chodes.
Anyways. That was odd. So, the staff there said that there was immediate change in energy when they brought Robert in. The place started having an eerie aura, and they noticed cameras and a lot of electronic devices would glitch out and malfunction around him. like photos were not taken correctly or batteries completely draining. I read all that off the paper. A few months after donating Robert, Myrtle died. Again, like, no one really says it's related to Robert or anything. The doll itself is very interesting, but the past around it is very convoluted. So that's basically all there is for the past, and now I was going to move on to the present day section of our presentation.
Oh my god, is there a future section?
Yeah, now we're in the modern day.
Oh boy, go ahead.
Okay. So, staff at the museum still claims the place has a terrible aura to it, but now Robert moves around inside his glass container display. He doesn't leave it, but he does move around in it. Actually, he does leave it. Never mind. Because the next thing I wrote down is sometimes he'll move, and then the next morning when you go to check on him, his shoes will have a fresh layer of dust on them.
Oh boy.
I mean, like, he can already teleport, so why not? You know, like the disappearing, reappearing. That must be teleportation.
Or he freezes time.
Ooh, even better. That's like a lot of power, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guards who work there at night will also hear laughter and footsteps when no visitors are there to make them. Robert's expression still changes, often going from a I don't really care what's going on around me expression to a bitch, I'll kill you expression.
Oh,
Very
yay.
quickly. Yeah. Some advice given to visitors who approach Robert go as following. Speak to him in a polite manner, ask before you take a photograph with him, and treat him with respect. A lesser known one I learned from the person I was talking to about Robert the doll was that you should give him candy before taking a picture with him too. It's just a nice thing to do. The glass display case Robert is in is often covered with apology letters, and so is basically every... Ooh, whoops, that was my laptop.
Oh my god, Marcy.
It's okay, I just punched it a little bit. But, yeah, people leave him apology letters if they're rude to him, you know, because of the bad luck they get, the accidents, the relationships, the death, the disease. They just want to say sorry. So they do.
Has Robert ever not accepted an apology?
Oh, we're on the same track. No, but I'd really like to hear about the poor schlub whose apology he will not accept for any reason.
That's probably gonna be me.
Yeah, well, please don't ask him anything.
I won't.
Yeah, so, the museum keeps these letters and puts them in a catalog for future reference. So hopefully when the world ends and someone else discovers Robert, they'll know not to be stupid. Oh yeah, I also forgot to add that if you're rude to Robert, it's not just you who is cursed, it's everyone you went to the museum with that day. Like your whole group that went. So, like, you know, if you're in the bathroom and, like, your uncle goes over and, like, starts shitting on Robert, like, you're screwed. And it's all your uncle's fault and you didn't even know.
Would you have to make a separate apology letter?
Maybe. Maybe, but, like, you didn't do anything wrong, so you'd have to be a snitch and be like, I'm sorry my Uncle Frederick peed on your glass case.
Oh my god.
I feel like I just have to use the bathroom. Okay. So, the current caretaker of Robert is Dr. Corey Convertito. I wish I read her name beforehand out loud. She's also the curator of the museum, too. So she is quite a fan of Robert and says that he is kind of adorable, especially with his impish behavior. It kind of suits his personality really well. And you know what? He does have the appearance of someone who would be really mischievous. That little sailor uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just looks like
Nothing
a
good.
tricky guy.
Yeah, most sailors are kind of... Even Donald Duck, I mean, look at him.
Look at Donald Duck as an example we use.
Yeah.
Donald Duck also killed my aunt.
What?
Because you're comparing him to Donald, and like Robert murdered people, and maybe Donald did, but like I'm not saying outright.
I mean, Donald Duck was a Nazi.
We're not accusing Donald Duck outright of most things. What are you saying?
Donald Duck was a Nazi in one of the old cartoons.
Great. Everything about this is great.
Disney is great.
Let's just call this episode Donald Duck the Nazi. Get blacklisted on YouTube.
We would get blacklisted so fast.
Disney would come and shut us down permanently.
Donald Duck the Nazi, but with a S?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no. I have a friend named Nazi.
You do. So, Dr. Convertito is actually... What?
Nothing.
Convertito, sorry. I would call her a champion, because every year, she has to do a checkup on him, where she takes him out of the case, weighs him, and checks his body to see if it's basically being destroyed by the humid Florida weather or not. So there's a lot of Robert the Doll handling that one time a year, and I don't, like... Imagine touching something and handling it, but it's 115 years old. And it's made out of cloth and hay and straw. Like, that's a very delicate process. I wouldn't trust myself with that.
I wouldn't either. Especially whenever I know that that thing is fucking haunted.
Yeah, that too. She's the one who receives and reads all the emails and letters he gets, as well as running his social media feed. So anything Robert the Doll related, she's essentially in charge of. She actually has a statement on if she believes he's haunted or not that goes as, "I don't know, I really don't. I've never had a bad experience with him. I've never felt uncomfortable. It's always been a very basic relationship, and I have a job to do, and I go and do it. And whether there's something to it or not, he just allows me to get on with my job." Yeah.
He knows he's haunted.
Yeah. But, like, it seems like he's friendly with her. Like, oh yeah, this is, like, my new friend, this lady.
This lady.
Yeah, this lady is my new friend. I don't know her
Er-
name. What?
How dare you?
What? What?
What do you mean, what?
Yeah, what'd I do?
You didn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
What, did I make a noise, or?
Yeah, you were like, how dare you?
I said Detective Diaz! I
Oh.
was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, I know you're quoting it, because I'm looking at the quote copy and pasted right in front of me.
I didn't... to be exposed.
Okay. So, I have, a few stories from present day, from actual people online. Are you ready for this?
Hit me, fam.
Okay. So the first person we're going to turn to is Howard R.K. from TripAdvisor and his review on the Mateo Museum in 2009. I actually didn't read this one at all. I just copied and pasted it, so we'll just react together, I guess. Okay.
Oh my god.
Well, it was titled, like, make sure to ask Robert or something creepy, so, like, I just went for it. Okay, so here's what he said. "Last week we were in Key West soaking up the history and wonderful sunshine. We are from New Hampshire and are not strangers to ghostly tales. Little did we realize that Robert the Doll was more than just a tale. We went to the museum and was told by a very nice lady at the front desk to be sure and ask Robert's permission if we wanted to take his picture. I just laughed at the silly statement and we went into his room where Robert was gazing at us. I snapped his picture, not once, but 3 times. We then proceeded into the gallery, where it was air-conditioned and there was some beautiful artwork on the walls. I found one painting that caught my eye and decided to take a picture of it. That's when it all started. I snapped the picture, I looked at my camera, and it said, "No images." All the 50-plus pictures we had taken in the Key West were suddenly gone, and we went parasailing the next day. The boat captain took a video of us in the air, got back home when the disc was blank, went to the camera store, and they could find no reason why our pictures were gone and why the disc was blank. I have also been hearing some strange noises during the night since I've been home. To all who may read this, please listen to the nice lady at the front desk of the museum. Ask Robert's permission if you want to take his picture.
Dumbass.
Yeah, so, nothing, too bad, I guess. Just, some inconveniences, and now I'm haunting your house.
I mean, it could get too bad. He better make a fucking apology letter to Robert soon.
Yeah, I mean, that was in 2009. Who knows what's happened since then?
He's dead.
Oh, okay. This next one is from Filipino Witch. They are the person I stumbled across on Tumblr. I didn't mean to, but I was looking at the Robert the Doll tag, trying to find personal experiences, and, whatever happened. So they met Robert at a TAPSCon in 2008. TAPS, like the ghost hunters. I don't know, I just wanted to specify that. They had to say...
I thought you said Ghostbusters.
No, ghost hunters. Anyways, they said, "We went to take pictures with him. I knew who he was, and I didn't know he'd be there, so I was happy. One thing no one tells you is that it's customary to leave candy for him before a picture is taken. So not knowing this, we took a few pictures until his keeper told us about it. I turned to him and apologized, asking for one more picture for an exchange of a family-sized bag next time I see him. I got this warm feeling that felt like a yes, so I took it. We took the picture and then left the area. And then, I didn't realize there was some translation errors because I don't believe English is their primary language, so sorry if I stumble over things. In less than an hour, our brand new fully charged camera died while we were taking a picture with an old band and looking at the pictures. I noticed something odd. The ones we took before we apologized, he had a visibly angry face with his mouth downturned and scrunched brows. The one right after didn't have that face, though. It was just the normal one. Another photo we took of the entire convention floor, there was Robert in the center of it, and they took a picture of the whole room, and Robert was in the back, furthest away from everything. And they noticed that his eyes were glowing. They tried to debunk it as, a reflection off the glass, but when you zoomed in, you could tell it was under the glass and not on top of it. So, our poor G has to give him a family-sized bag of candies next time they're visiting.
I would have gone ahead and come back to the museum and be like, "Hey, I'm just dropping this off for Robert."
Yeah. Okay. And the last one from Reddit user, A Victorious Secret. I was waiting for you to say something, but I guess not.
A Victorious Secret?
Yeah.
That's, part of my brain is immediately going to the Nick show, but the other part of my brain is like, he, victory titty.
Okay, next. He said, "I'm from Key West. Grew up there and enlisted in the army after almost 23 years on my little island. Anyway, Robert will fuck you up. Ask permission before you take a picture of him. My best friends and I rode our bikes there to East Marteo one day, probably 6 years ago, Reed tipsy, and decided to take a picture of the guy without asking. We took a picture, looked at the phone display, and looked... Oh yeah, sorry. We took a picture and looked at our phones, and it looked like as if we were spinning around when we took it. Like, it looks like they were mid-spin or something when the photo was taken. Didn't save it, took it again, same outcome. We realized we hadn't asked and figured we already fucked up, so we tried to apologize profusely and sincerely and didn't take any more pictures. We head back to her house, and probably 50 feet from it, the front tire of her new bike completely shears off the front fork, and she goes ass over the tea kettle, scraping the absolute fucking shit out of both her forearms and her chin. So yeah, I believe Robert is a real thing.
I guess she must not have apologized enough.
Oh yeah, the guy was like totally fine. I forgot about that part. So yeah, I guess to answer your question about if you have to write a separate apology letter from your uncle, I guess you do. Interesting. Mm-hmm. So that's all I had to write down about it.
We're all the way through all the 7 pages of notes?
Yeah.
Robert the Doll is a very interesting thing in the fact that he's so famous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone knows about Robert the Doll.
Yeah, it's a very famous urban legend. That's actually a real thing. It's like the creepypasta that, like... It's weird that it does exist, because it does sound like something straight out of creepypasta.
I would love to see a movie based on Robert the Doll.
I believe there is one. Here, let me look it up real quick, I guess. Sorry if you're gonna hear my clicking. Robert the Doll movie. I'm pretty sure it exists. Oh yeah, it's right here. Except, as you can see, the doll doesn't really look like Robert.
Isn't that... Yeah, the doll's like a legit doll.
Yeah, like...
It's like the ventriloquist dummy from Goosebumps.
Nice call, he does.
Is that Nazis?
What do you mean?
Go back.
Nazis? What do you mean? Oh, Nazis. Yeah, that's a Nazi.
Revenge of Robert the Doll. Oh my god, is he the next Chucky?
He killed the Nazis, Fel.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I don't know what any of this is. I don't even know if this doll is supposed to be Robert the Doll, because it looks so dramatically different. And arguably, like, this doll, it's not that scary in comparison to other things.
It's not that scary in comparison to the real Robert the Doll.
That's what I was trying not to say.
What? Are you scared that Robert's gonna get mad?
Well, no, I already said something bad in the beginning, though. So, like, I'm trying to play it safe now.
Robert is very scary for the fact that he is very powerful. He's a very good doll. Like, he's a good... Don't hurt me.
I know, I scrolled up immediately. But yeah, this is supposed to be based on the real thing, I suppose. Yeah. I wasn't aware he had hair.
He has hair?
His hair, see? He has a widow's peak.
Is that really Robert the Doll, though?
Yeah. Also, they sell Robert the Doll replicas, I believe, at the museum. Also, this dog is supposed to be a lion.
Oh. Are they haunted too?
Maybe? I don't know.
You can buy, like, Robert Light.
Wait, do you mean, like... Wait, were you referring to, is the lion haunted, or are the replica dolls haunted?
I was referring to the replica dolls.
How would they get them all to be possessed?
I mean, it's just like Robert has consciousness over all of them, maybe.
Like a little army of Roberts?
Yeah, it's like Diet Robert.
Oh, I mean, yeah, maybe that's a thing. Interesting.
The more I look at that lion, the more it's like I could see it being slightly haunted too.
The eyes, do those do it for you?
Oh yeah.
You know what I find interesting though? That I hadn't really thought about till this moment. Robert, as we both discussed, is 3'4" and given to an 8 or 9-year-old kid. And that kid took the doll everywhere with him. This must have been hard to move around as a kid.
I keep forgetting that he's 3 foot something and thinking of him as very small.
No, he's really big, but like that must have been so hard for the little boy to move all the time.
And I have to look behind myself now.
Yeah, I've been looking behind myself too, mainly at my lizard and fish tank.
I keep expecting that doll to just come down the hill.
Rapunzel or Robert?
Cinderella.
Cinderella or Robert.
Cinderella.
A cursed Cinderella doll and Uncle Frederick pissing.
I don't know. It's just been so many years since I saw her, and I never know exactly what happened to her.
What do you mean?
And so she just fucking disappeared one day.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you ask your mom?
Mom said she didn't know about it. Because we tried throwing her away. She just always came back.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
And then she just fucking left one day.
I don't know. Maybe she got sick of you throwing her out all the time.
And part of me expects her to come back one day.
I mean, maybe, but you're a lot bigger now.
I'm also more disabled now.
Yeah, but now you have Sarah. And 2 floors. Well, you had 2 floors last time, too.
Yeah, I'm
well,
fatter.
Now you have Sarah.
God, I don't know what I would do if I ever saw her coming down that hill.
Well, like, how is she coming down the hill? Like, waddling or floating?
She's always waddling.
What?
She's always waddling in my dream.
Oh, okay. Isn't that the hill you walk up to get... You know what? This is going on too long. We need to end this.
Yeah, I forgot that we were in podcast for a
minute. Okay, let's just get out of here.
No, wait.
What?
Thanks for listening. Absolutely no one.
No, they're people. Don't be so negative.
People. Oh, what people?
We're gonna go now. I don't know what the name of this podcast is. Goodbye.